Never gonna get that, so.
Well, you had high expectations.
And most of that, I know it. That's it.
Well, you had high expectations. Read mine. What? What was mine? This is it.
You're good.
All right, any changes for the minutes?
For one time, I went through the minutes, and one of the votes on the chairman thing only had 4 votes to the side. I don't know if we can find that again.
Oh, for Arabian, candidate? Yeah, I think everybody voted for that.
Huh?
Hey, Dad,
Where have you been? Signing stupid paperwork.
You
too, right? They didn't even have the paperwork down there for me to sign, so.
all right, so we'll make that change.
Okay, I move with.
Second, discussion. All in favor? I thought since we got so many, new members, we should probably take a few minutes and do introductions. I'm Andy Reichless, I've been on a long time. Yeah, I started working out, I've been working at Welch Allen Baxter for 38 years. Done a lot of large projects, a lot of negotiations with suppliers. One point I had the shipping and receiving department, they had about 100 folks working for me.
33.
Well, former business, I had a couple of businesses, sold those off. And, town supervisor is on the town council for a lot of years. Treasurer for a church.
Sure, I'm Don Casper, if you remember. I'm a mechanical engineer by training, so I spent about 5 years consulting and have been in the software space for the last 15. I have my own company right now. We do commercial real estate financial modeling right now, internationally. My background for the last 15 years primarily been focused on cloud software. Worked with a lot of big companies. Yeah, that's me.
My name's Herb Marshall. I helped start the IDA 100 years ago. Then I was off for a while and back on. I'm on the Water and Sewer Authority. I try to run the farm on the side.
I'm Tom Blair, new board member, commercial attorney in office in Skaneateles, former in-house counsel at Carroll's Corporation, a restaurant company, did real estate and franchising 26 states. Left there for my own firm, Skaneateles, been there since 2006. Town supervisor, town of Senate.
Dave Skank, down at Springport. I've known Andy for a while. Town supervisor for 14 years, town judge for 18 years before I retired. For that farm background, then for about 20 years, I supervised the district salesman of a regional farm and turf company in the northeast. And every time they'd buy a company that was failing, I was dirty hairy to let this straighten them out.
I'm Gina Spino. I am in commercial real estate and also retail background in shopping centers. I've been on the board for 17 years.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think Rick and Justin are the only ones that are still here. Me. And Herb left. He was here and left, right, Justin?
Good afternoon. Hey. I'm Bob Shea, legislator and board member.
Yeah, Rick Alvado, I've been the attorney for the IDA since I think 01, started with Ray Santa, and then when they retired, I took over exclusively working with Justin as our special counsel. Thank you.
Mike Miller, I'm your executive director. I've been with the IDA for about 3.5 years now. Prior to that, I was with Barclay Damon, a law firm, super regional law firm out of their office in Syracuse. I was their senior analyst on staff. Prior to that, I was with a software firm out of Ithaca, whose roots were right here in Genoa, New York, founded by Stephen Gongol, the current town supervisor of Venice, and lifelong resident of Cayuga County here.
All right. The only, I'd like to add to the agenda under 6C is the land committee. Anybody else have any additions they want to? Okay, bills.
Okay, so before we get started off with the bills, while we do have Tracy in the room, she's not in her capacity with MRB, as she no longer is with MRB. Instead, we have Cheyenne Stereo, who's joining us remotely, and Cheyenne is going to provide us with an overview of the bills. I have a copy of the bills printed out here for anybody who would like to review them. They're not in your packets, they are in your electronic packets. Again, Cheyenne's going to go over that, and she's also going to provide you with the report of the treasurer as well. That said, go ahead, Cheyenne.
Thanks. Nice to meet everyone. The bills are pretty standard this month. You've got your NICEAG and a few different ones from MRB Group. Those are mostly your contract invoices, monthly invoices. You've got some from legal representation, and then your office rent and your utilities. So nothing really huge and out of the ordinary. You did get your first half, more or less, of your audit to pay for, and then the other half will come once that's all completed and finalized. So, any question on the bills? Okay, like Michael said, Tracy's
No.
got some history on this. He's got some history on this, so you're well covered on those. Okay. Do you guys want to make a motion on those before we move on?
I'll make a motion to pay the bills as presented.
I'll second
Any discussion? All in favor?
it.
Aye.
Okay, moving into financials. You've got your balance sheet. You guys have got about 5 million in the bank in various accounts. You'll see, I did want to call out the pilot's receivable line. It's $457,000. You see that come right back out under liabilities, so just those pass-through payments. So while your current assets or your total assets land at about 5.6 million, you got that almost $500,000 of pass-through coming through. On the liabilities and equity side, you've got about 11,000 in accounts payable. Those will get cleared up with those bill payments. About $3,000, almost 4,000 on your credit card payment. And again, that pilot payments pass through. So you're in good shape due to about 5.1 million in equity. And that's it on the balance sheet. Did anybody else see anything that they had questions on there? Okay. Do you want to move on to the budget versus actuals report? That's the next one. Again, this is just a January 31st report, so you're not very far into the year yet. You're doing well on your interest. That short-term CD is surpassing what you had budgeted, so that's great. The only other one I wanted to call out, which I already kind of did before, was that audit charge. The 6,500 wasn't budgeted for January, but it was budgeted for the year in general, so you're fine there. And those are really the notables that I saw. Did anybody else have questions on that?
No, just probably should be aware the CD rates are gonna drop.
Yeah, it's just to clarify, it's not actually a CD, it's our floating
Money market.
money market. And even though it has dropped a bit over the last couple of months, it's still surpassing what our budgeted expectations were. So that's been doing very, very well for us.
Yeah, and very similarly, you've got your profit and loss report next, and that's just comparing this month to January of 2025. So there's a couple lines there that are different. But nothing that I found really notable, and you're doing $21,000 better than you were last January in terms of a profit and loss. So any questions on that one? Okay.
Oh, very good.
Related to the financials, you've also got the pilot disbursement report in your packet. That's, I think, falls somewhere around page 40 in your packet if you're ruffling through it.
Actually, we didn't print out the bills in their packet, so it's further up the front. What I'm gonna say on this item, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, Cheyenne, is
No, go for it.
what we have in the packet here doesn't reflect the dispersed monies that went out just a couple of days ago. That's all via certified mail. For our new board members, what we do with all the pilot payments, that all runs through a separate account to ensure we have accurate tracking of money coming in and going out of that account. So once you receive all outstanding monies, and Cheyenne's colleague Grace did send up some follow-up notes for outstanding payments due to the IDA, that account is more or less zeroed out as it goes through. So it's a wash through our balance sheet as well.
Right, so we'll get a payment from the milk plant or whoever, and then we disperse it to the town and county and so forth.
Mhm.
Full district, so, yeah.
Mhm.
So like Mike says, it just washes and that's zero.
Mike, can you further explain the penalty for ESPP?
Yeah, so that was spillover from the 2024 audit where we did get knocked for having not dispersed within the 30-day time limit. So what we ended up doing, instead of just issuing a whole new payment to that taxing jurisdiction, is we just said, let's wait till the next billing cycle comes around and we'll tuck that payment in at that time, and now's that time. So once we receive that payment from GSPP, we'll include the penalty amounts as well.
No, Mike,
I think that's it on financials and everything else, right, Cheyenne?
Yep, that's it.
Before we get through with her, we're due to meet with the auditors
Mhm.
in March. And Tracy has she been working with the auditors in the meantime?
She has more so. Her colleague Grace and I have been managing that relationship and the work of the audit itself. We have received the preliminary draft. The audit is done. I received the draft just over the last couple of days. My preliminary review, it's very, very clean. So my thanks to the MRB team for all their efforts on that. I will send it to this group actually tomorrow for your review, as Herb, you just said, ahead of our regular meeting on March 19th. The audit committee will meet with the auditors to review their findings and their compiled report. That will also be shared with the broader board at the regular meeting itself. And obviously with board's approval of that, we tuck that into state mandated reporting and submission by the end of March.
I had a peculiar call from the auditors not very long ago, wanting to know if they could ask me questions,
That's good.
and just.
That's a good thing. It's standard process for an audit.
Anyway, I answered questions for about 30 minutes, and then I asked them, how in the world come they pick me out to ask questions to? And he says, I talked to two other people, they wouldn't answer any questions, you're the only one.
Right, right.
Dumb enough to answer the question.
Yeah,
I think you were just the first one to pick up the phone, so they had to make sure they called the other audit committee members as well to ensure that there was continuity of answers. Similar questions were asked of myself, and I'm sure of Tracy at the time, and probably Grace as well, anyone who had any sort of hand within the financials.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
but the audits are generally very clean. All right, Mike. Update.
Is there a motion to accept the report from the treasurer?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. All right, so as I tell most of our board members, but for those of you who are new, I always include a written report within your packet here. In addition to a typical monthly invoice, but I always bring some walk-on additions as there's a gap in billing and where we are now. So 3 primary areas I like to discuss is first project administration, second stakeholder engagement, and third operations. On the project admin front, we are continuing to work with Loki Brill, and we do have Kevin Loki on the phone for later in our discussion here about updates of the labor monitoring services they're providing for projects located in Sterling, Scipio, and Ledyard. Of note, the 2 projects in Scipio and Ledyard, formerly owned by Cordelio, they've been acquired by a company named Altus Power. So we're working with them on getting them up to speed for their reporting requirements. One of the things that we're speaking with them about for the board to potentially consider at next month's meeting is a full buyout of the labor reporting requirements as it is, and that's something I'll look to bring to the board potentially next month. As many of you know, we do have this large scale proposed wind turbine project over in the towns of Venice and Scipio. Some of you in the room know we do have a scheduled meeting with members from the company as well of the town and our council for next week. We're anticipating an application from them for IDA benefits either at the end of Q1 or the beginning of Q2, and this will be a very sizable project if we really do take that one on there. One of the things we have on our agenda, a couple of things we have on our agenda today that we've been working through are includes the sale of land to Doug Wayne, and we've been working on that for a number of months. Over the last month itself, we've completed approvals and working with MRB from the town for lot line adjustment, and also did filings with the clerk on all of that there. We do have the proposed purchase agreement for board approval today, in addition to MC Owasco, also known as Sunburn Sales, for the small lot we have over in the Aurelius IDA Park. Lastly, on this end here, as we discussed at the January meeting, is the news that Wells College is selected its winning bidder in the Hiawatha Institute. I have engaged with its principal, Les LeBeau, have had a couple of conversations with him now, and they're going through their due diligence phase for the acquisition of that property. It's my understanding that they're looking to get approvals, or rather Wells College is looking to get approvals for the sale of that and other properties in March, and we'll see where we go from there on that end. On the land front, we're continuing to have our bi-weekly meetings with Barton and LaJudas regarding the property up in Brutus. We also met with the DEC to discuss wetland mitigation impacts and mitigation requirements and potential strategy around that. I'll be connecting with BNL tomorrow to get an update, and should have a more comprehensive update for the board at next month's meeting. On the topic of the DEC, Carrie Twilliger and I had a chance to meet with them to discuss the former PowerX facility over in Aurelius. As I think everyone here knows, that's a super fun site that the EPA has been working on. They're continuing to do remediation of the site. Right now, they're doing injections into the bedrock and what we were told by them is that this is going to continue on for several more years. However, development could happen there. And they offered to put us in contact with the owner, that being GE, for potential sale, or at least us for development opportunities. So looking forward to that conversation with them. And it was overall a very good conversation. So my thanks to Barry for setting that up with DEC. On the stakeholder front, our economic development coordinator or coordination group, we continue to meet weekly. One of the big things that came out of last year's task to us was to come up for potential fund uses for economic development. One of the things that the county ledge approved that we recommended was a countywide economic development strategy for this year. So we're excited to see that go through. The housing market study I did share with Rick and Justin earlier this week. A review for RFP to be sent out by Carrie Twilliger and her team on that. The Micron steering committee and our sub site selection committee has continued to meet. We met with Mick Sicchio. He's the regional director for the GO Semi program out of Empire State. It's all around semiconductor supply chain compatibility there. So with our small internal group, we reviewed premier sites with them, and we know this is going to be a major effort, but great to have that conversation with them and get on the state's radar to promote Cuyahoga County and our sites, both in Auburn and county at large. Also met with TDO yesterday, along with Tracy Verrier. They work with manufacturers, large and small, throughout the entirety of our 5-county region. And if any of you are working with manufacturers in your township or related, let us know. We'd love to put you in contact with them. They're a lot like the Small Business Center. They do all sorts of things that really help companies grow and develop. But skipping on from that, on operational front, we're in our new office. Things are up and running, so no problem here. As I mentioned about our audit, that has been largely completed without issue, and I'll be sending out the report tomorrow. And again, our state mandated reporting is due at the end of March. That's also going to be presented to the board next month prior to submission. Pilots are moving along just fine. And lastly, what you have in your packet here is a communication policy that's being proposed. We talked about this as a board near the end of last year's. We didn't have one, and it's in your packet today for potential approval and adoption. So that's everything I have. I know that's a lot and a mouthful, but happy to answer any questions.
That on Michael?
The communications policy is the end of your packet. That's the last couple of pages. I need the very end packet, so it's only 2-3 pages.
You want to kind of run through it and give us an overview?
Sure, and my thanks to Justin for helping to put it together. It's pretty standard in my review of the communications policy. It really says that lines of communication representing the board and its interests on matters both public and private are to be more streamlined, that it either comes from the chair or the executive director. If anyone from the board wants to speak outside of the board, it needs permission to do so, and really tries to ensure that that there's continuity of a voice in what we're doing, and that it's not limited to just one-on-one interactions, but also throughout social media as well, as that's become a very large part of communications too.
Typically, I don't know how you operate. Do you normally pass this on the floor and then table it for the next meeting so everybody can read it?
Yeah, I think it should be
Like, you
tabled,
know,
because it should have a chance to review it in depth.
okay. I wasn't sure how you were functioning there, but
Have you all seen something similar to this in the groups that you're involved with, and especially in today's world, right?
You want to officially table it for a moment?
Yes.
I would move the table it for a moment and. What do you?
Yeah, and I think that gives everybody a chance to review it and come back with comment. Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
I have one, if we could go right to the Brutus Farm, how far has they gotten along with their studies with that?
Yeah, so we're pretty far along on that there. I'll be checking in with their project lead tomorrow to do some discussion. The last I discussed with them, we're going to start seeing if we can put together some renderings of what potential development looks like. Obviously, it's wet up there. That's part of the reason we got in touch with DEC. They updated their rules and regs on wetland mitigation and boundaries at the beginning of 2025, and it's definitely an impediment for development. So part of the reason we talked to them is to say, how can we work around this? Because we still think it's a great site. And this is where we're looking to get a little more creative with the engineers to say, okay, this acreage, which we're still defining, that's one of the issues we have right now. It's all desktop work because they can't get out on the property. Is to say, okay, is there enough here to go on to the phase 2 of the proposal we worked out with them to say, okay, we think there's enough there to go on to phase
They're
2.
going to come back to us before we decide to. do
Yes,
the
and
next
that's what we want to
phase.
do.
Have we determined the exact number of acres that would be in the sale?
The number of acres that are developable.
Whatever number of acres we're expected to pay for.
No, not at this time. We're not there yet, but we're getting there.
And we have not gone any further coming up with a price per acre yet.
No, and that part of how those two are intertwined there is we really want to know what is the developable acreage.
That's why we agreed to put the money into that study.
That's it. That's it. And
At some point, we need to come up with a price to see if.
we're getting there,
Okay.
but we're relying on the professionals to tell us this is that you actually have something here and this is what it would cost to improve it. And that's where we start to, get around the table and say, okay, let's find a number that might pass muster for buying it.
Thank you, Michael.
Sure.
Anything else?
Me.
All right. Unfinished business,
All right.
the labor monitoring.
Okay, so we do have Kevin Lowkey on the phone here. We have our monthly reports for the 2 projects that Kevin and his team have been monitoring, and I know he has just recently begun engagement with the very small project up in Sterling. So Kevin, go ahead.
Correct. Good afternoon. So I'm going to present our findings from the Scipio project, as well as the dog corners. So this reflects the January numbers. So total monthly head count for Sun East Dog Corners LLC was 756. They had a total of 32 Cayuga residents, 599 were residents of the defined local area. 82 were residents of New York State living outside of that area. 43% were non-New York residents. So their total monthly compliance was 4% for Cayuga, 79 for local area, 11% for New York State residents, and only 6% for non-New York residents. Sun East Scipio Solar.
Stop you for a moment, Kevin.
Sure.
What happens with the pilots is we always have a regulation in there that there's supposed to be so much labor content.
Local label, correct?
Yeah, or, within the 5, there's gives and counties. And the solar folks have particularly had a problem with that. So we've hired this firm to keep track of it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So no, that's fine. But just to elaborate on what you're saying, normally the projects are subject to 65% of the total project labor have to be Cayuga County residents. 20% have to be from the local area, which includes Oswego, Onondaga, Ontario, Cortland, Tompkins, Seneca, and Wayne counties. And then 15% have to be from other counties in New York State. Thus, 100% of the labor has to be from New York State, but certain percentages obviously fixate on Cayuga County and the local surrounding area to give local, construction and workers the first opportunity to work on these projects. So that is what we're tracking. These particular projects, both the dog corners and Scipio, are subject to, I believe, 25% overall local compliance. But how we track that is we collect weekly labor reports from the project that reflects all the construction activity they have on site during a given week. We do once a month inspections to validate those numbers they're providing us, so they're not just making up numbers. We also collect all the insurance documentation from the general contractor and all subs to ensure everyone has proper coverage in the case where there might be an accident or injury and a lawsuit comes back to the IDA. And it also avoids 1099 violators on these projects. So that's sort of what we're doing for both of these jobs, as well as the one that just started in Sterling. We performed our first site visit on that project last week. But again, we visit these projects all once a month. These are at random visits where we are validating local labor on the project site. So sorry for the long-winded explanation there, but just to clarify what it is that we're doing. So I did review the Dog Corners project. The other one is Scipio Solar. Their total monthly headcount was 887 workers, 71 of which were Cayuga residents, 687 local area residents, 69 of them were New York residents outside of the local area, and 60 were out-of-state residents. Thus, their Cayuga compliance was 8%, local area 78%, other New York residents 7%, and out of area was 7%. So those are the January totals for these projects. I have overall numbers as well, if you would like those. Again, we just started monitoring the USLE Sterling project. So you'll have those first numbers for the February report.
Right, so in general, they're fairly non-compliant.
Yes, we've actually kind of had some back and forth with them getting started as we kind of came in halfway through. Things had gotten kicked off with them, and obviously they've now changed ownership. So you're kind of having to explain the message and the requirements to all these parties, but they're on the right track. We've gotten everything we need from them now. One of the big things that was dragging behind was the local labor utilization reports. However, they've fully caught up on all those now, so we're compliant with all paperwork. They're providing things as mentioned on a weekly basis. Their next local labor utilization report was actually ended 2 days ago, and they'll be providing those reports soon. So unlike the press reports, we don't have to wait months and months for these. I should have those ones very shortly and then submit those to the IDA.
Yeah, so then what'll happen is there's stipulations in the contract, and if they end up not being compliant, there's penalties. And then we apply those to a training program.
Yes, so the intent of working with Kevin and his team, and we do at some point want to expand our local labor policy and mitigation, is what we had noticed for renewable energy projects in particular is they could not source engineering, procurement, and construction personnel that really fit within our policy. So we came up with this mitigation payment that said you can pay your way out of that policy. And what we do with those monies is we then put it into a workforce development fund, speak with our education and workforce partners and say, where are there gaps in local workforce that we can deploy these monies that helps build up the workforce that fills the gaps, not just into this industry, but adjacent and other industries that are showing shortages or lack of demand in. So that's the intent. We haven't collected monies on this yet, but that's definitely coming in this year, and we will see that show up on our balance sheet as a restricted fund account.
All right, Red Clover,
So the red clover, excuse me, uh, administrative services proposal, this was,
run with Red Rover, you can get out of.
this is, Tracy's proposed, admin contract to the IDA. Tracy?
Yeah, so I laid this out in a pretty simple fashion to be very specific about the work that I can provide to the board for, and then the cost of doing so. And, you know, it's really the administrative tax or tasks around meeting coordination, finances, bookkeeping, a lot of what MRB is doing now. And so you would be seeing me on a monthly basis to report to you on the financials. I'd be coming to the meetings and making sure like all the pilot stuff is happening in the time frame it needs to happen, and supporting the audit, Harris reporting, compliance type stuff as well. And so, you know, the proposed agreement is in your packet, and, you know, I'm happy to answer any questions or having a discussion about it, but, you know, would be happy.
And Michael sent me another one of them, and I've been looking at it. I believe this past year you carried out yourself some of the pilot hearings. Did we pay extra for that?
The, attending the pilot public hearings.
Yes.
You did not, pay extra for that. You know, we kind of incorporated that into the meeting coordination and meeting minutes.
So if you needed to go to some of them this year, that would be something. The only, I'm ready to make a motion that we hire you to fee that you said, but I had a little concern, the language you used in who prepared the agenda for the meeting and stuff. It's my idea that the chairman should be involved with that as well as the director.
Sure.
And report the minutes for them, but if that both of those things are satisfactory with you.
Yeah.
I would make a motion that we hire Tracy, and we do have new members here. If they're comfortable voting on it now, that's fine. If they're not, I would move that we hire her for a month at that and then finish their contract with whatever is.
And I feel like I can give you some of my background, just to see if.
Also, I think the background of where we came from to get to where we are today, that we actually are, you know, contracting an admin, right? Because at one point we had to report a whole CEDA, right? So I think that might be helpful just to, you know.
So sorry
Explain.
to interrupt. It's just, I think it would be helpful that.
MRB is okay with that, you
I
get
had
the
discussion with them about, yeah, there was a couple of things before I left that I chatted with them about, and this is one of them.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but just as background, for those of you who aren't as familiar with me, prior to working for MRB, I was the director of the Cayuga Economic Development Agency, and so I was working with CCIDA at that time as well. I've actually, so with the exception of like maybe 2 years there, other than those 2 years, I have been working with the IDA since 2014, maybe 2013, 2014. Doing a lot of the same stuff, and a lot of what Michael's doing was, you know, me and my team doing that work. So I'm very familiar with this. I work with a lot of IDAs and LDCs. In this business, even my other clients are public authorities, and I'm helping them with compliance and making sure that they're following state regulations. So my background is really in economic development, public authorities, and compliance. So I'm, you know, been doing this for a long time.
Herb is one of the new guys, I'm comfortable with that, I read it when you forwarded it. And she's a known commodity. Yeah.
Other than we should.
Right, but that's, you know, that's good, the other guys should have feelings on that too, but Tracy is a known commodity in Cayuga County.
She's been very, very important to this group for a number of years.
Any other questions? We have a motion.
I would move that we hire her under this contract with the understanding that she does report also to the chairman as well as to the director.
Yeah, and, the contract should be reviewed by council. But in general, I don't think there's an issue.
Rick, have you reviewed it yet or not?
Yeah, my concern is that, it calls for us to pay, reasonable attorney's fees. In the event of a dispute, over payment in subsection E, and I don't like that provision representing a public board.
Promise to pay me?
Huh?
Do you promise to pay me?
In accordance with the contract.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also-
that's the only thing that stood out to me was that,
We may have to.
Yeah.
Check to make sure you make it.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah, I have a quick question since I'm new.
Yeah.
When we're using vendors or 1099 third parties, it's our policy to ensure they're insured?
I was just gonna say, I'm happy to provide my insurance
yeah,
document.
only that. That's a good point.
Yeah, sorry, when I first actually wrote this particular contract, it was before I had all of my insurance lined up, it was in the transition. But I do actually have, in my new standard terms, it outlines the insurance that I carry. I carry professional liability insurance, non-owned auto, since my company doesn't own any autos, it's all of the autos I drive. And all of the kind of general liability, commercial, umbrella, all of that stuff, I do have all of that insurance, so, and I'm happy to provide it. Because that's totally reasonable.
Is Rick's, range acceptable?
don't think that's great.
Anything else in the contract or? All right, so we got a motion. Second, any, further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right.
Great.
The ayes barely made it.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
While we're still on there, we were to get a new contract with MRB, and I don't believe we have. What do we need to do to cancel our contract?
It's 7 days.
That should be done, right? Whenever they, yes, no sense of we're paying.
Agreed. Agreed. So I'll work with Tracy and MRB on a transition from their team back to Tracy independently.
We give the formal notice pursuant to that
Yes.
agreement, yeah. Just copy me and Justin on that.
Sure.
Thank you, Margaret.
Yep.
All right, office nominations.
Okay. Officer nominations. So for our new members, we have 3 officers on board. There is the chair, the vice chair, and the treasurer secretary. One of the places we're in right now is with 2 of our new appointments. We lost both our chair and our treasurer secretary. We do this on an annual basis. Part of electing the officers will also be the nomination for committees. We have 2 committees at the moment, with the 3rd proposed by Andy. The 2 committees right now that we must have is governance committee made up of 3 members and the finance audit committee made up of 3 members. Cannot table that today. We have to have them. Spoke with our auditors, since we had 2 of our finance committee members removed. They said, get new ones on as soon as you can, because we have to get this audit done next month.
And usually the governance committee would recommend, but I think at this point, we might as well just jump right to it.
I'd like to promote Vice Chair Andy Randall to Chair.
Oh.
Of the-
The big pain.
Yeah.
They like you get your pays double.
Yeah.
I second that.
All right, any other further nominations?
I'd like to nominate Mr. Blair as chair.
All right, you want to do just to straight up vote, or what do you guys want to do? Paper audit?
would y'all like to have discussion? And it's not my place, but if you want to, discussion around it.
I think that there's a lot of change happening personally, if we all know that. And I think, I appreciate that, what you're doing, but I think we also could use some new blood as a chair. We have 3 new members, and I think, if we're gonna stir the pot, we should just stir it all the way and see where we go. There's a lot of new things, and we just really need to refocus on, what's ahead of us. And we all know the last year or 2 have been a little challenging, so I think it just would be nice to take a new road.
Sure. Mr. Blair, are you interested or?
Hadn't really thought about it, but if it's, I'm a service. Most of you that know me would agree that I'm a service-oriented guy, so if the board feels that I'm useful in that role, I'd consider it. I'm a little bit of an ass kicker though, so be careful what you're asking for.
I hear you there. Let's do a paper ballot. So just grab a piece and we'll have Rick, he's the only honest one in the bunch, do the counting.
First time I'm trying to use this already a mess.
Anything else from Dave? Fair enough.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah,
I
I'm
got
doing
it.
this alone. Yeah, I'm not doing this alone. Did I just abstain?
No, you should vote yourself.
Hey, don't be pushy.
You ended up with a different county legislative chair. No, they both voted for each other, right? Got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
We have 7?
And we'll find out. Andy.
We can let the, well, how do I want to view it? The loser or the winner be the vice chair.
I guess that's an A. I'll put it there. Okay,
Andy. Tom Blair. Andy. Mr. Blair. Andy.
That's it.
Tom Blair. 3 for Mr. Blair, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 for Andy. All right. Everybody voted right.
I would move to Tom Blair be vice chairman.
I'd second that. Any discussion, other nominations? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, treasurer,
Nominate Dave.
So, I'm new here. I kind of like to sit and watch for a while, and just know which ends up. But thanks, Bob, but you know what I'm saying.
anybody else interested? We'll have to push on Dave Carter.
Would you consider doing so?
I'd rather sit in Westfield.
That's a.
So let me read through the materials and then meet with Mike sometime and see what's
All right.
involved. All right, that's okay.
We'll look at it.
But-
Bookkeeping,
I
I pull the reports.
Okay, super. But
I know you're good with numbers.
The treasurer is usually on the finance audit committee. Oh,
They-
we're doing that next. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Treasurer is always on the finance audit committee.
Who wants to be on
We
the
eliminated other
governance
non-
committee?
tax. We don't have a tax. Yeah, you don't have a village. No, we do.
Yeah.
Who wants to be on the governance committee? 3 folks.
No, I'm gonna pass, thanks.
You're gonna pass?
Yeah.
All right,
Oh, put me down, I'll do.
all right.
Get the ball rolling here.
I'll stay on if you guys don't mind. We just need 1 more.
Herb would be good on that.
Okay,
Me?
Mhm.
I'm probably on the Audit committee, I don't think we haven't done that yet, I assume that, that's.
All right, well, we'll look back. to that. All right, so audit committee. The treasurer would be one spot, right?
Yes,
And you want to be on that?
I don't want to be treasurer, but I would be on the audit committee, I've
You'd be
already
on the
spoken
audit?
to the auditors.
All right. Anybody else wants to be on the audit? And you only meet once a year, so it's not a big lift.
Okay.
Come on, Ron.
I'll do it. Big on you guys today.
You agree to?
Yeah.
All right, so we need
Good,
one more on
thank
the
you.
governance committee.
Did we have 3 on the audit committee?
Yeah, the treasurer was unnamed.
Well, right
Mr.
now,
Mark.
But we need to have that before next meeting.
no, we need it now.
Yeah.
We can put you down for now, and if you want to resign, the board can revoke.
All right,
Still
we
not
got Dave.
treasurer. That takes care of, okay, I don't have to worry about that.
Like you said,
Well,
one
if you
more.
resign, you have to give us 11 months. from-
I hear you.
Then for the governance, we've got,
Would you,
Bob and I,
would you do it again?
The governance,
Yes.
I thought we already picked that.
no, because when we shift it over to the
I don't
audit.
think I should be on both.
Sure, I can always resign, right?
Yes.
True.
That's true.
Like
All
Mark
right.
said, it takes 11 minutes.
11 months.
Minutes.
Oh, months.
I think the other committee I'd like to create is a land committee. I think that's gonna heat up more this year. So it almost like 3 board members.
What is it? Can you explain what a land?
Didn't we have one before?
Yes. we did.
Okay, so new members of the land, I thought there was already a
Yeah.
committee a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
That's more of an ad hoc committee that's outside of what's the
Yeah.
mandated.
But I thought there was 2 or 3 of you searching for land that were on the board.
Yeah.
I thought maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
yeah, Ray was on.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But so I'd like three names for that. It's really just to go search for land. Name all the particulars around that. And I'd like to nominate Mr. Marshall because I think he's bought and sold more land than the rest of us.
I am interested in doing that. I was gonna make a note. Somebody already approached me just yesterday with land for sale in Senate, and I got a map of it and showed it to Mr. Blair, but when you get further, I can present that to Michael also.
So you're already working with Mr. Blair.
We've got 2 out of 3 members right now.
Ooh, sounds like-
3.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir.
All right, and who wants to keep them 2 honest?
Nina.
That's the funniest thing you've ever said.
Not according to my wife, but okay. Anybody else? I'll go for a ride with you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so could I have a motion to accept all that?
Move it.
Second,
Second.
all in favor,
Aye.
opposed?
All right, now I've got to do a formal resolution and roll call vote on that. Resolution of the Cayuga County IDA, 1, ratifying certain prior adopted policies, standards, and procedures in connection with the Public Authorities Accountability Act of 2005. And 2, ratifying certain agency policies and procedural matters in furtherance of the Public Authority Reform Act of 2009. So your chair for this year will be Mr. Rindfleisch, your vice chair will be Mr. Blair, and your treasurer secretary will be Mr. Schenk. Audit Finance Committee will consist of Mr. Schenk, Mr. Marshall, and Mr. Casper. Governance Committee consisting of Mr. Shea, Mr. Rindfleisch, and Ms. Spino. And your Ad Hoc Plan Committee consisting of Mr. Marshall, Mr. Blair, and Mr. Rindfleisch. Your acting director or executive director being me, and your acting secretary treasurer being Tracy Ferrier going forward. This resolution will take effect immediately, and I'll now move to a roll call vote. Mr. Marshall,
Yes.
Mr. Shea,
Yes.
Mr. Rindfleisch,
Yes.
Mr. Casper,
Yes.
Ms. Spino,
No,
Mr. Skink,
Yes.
and Mr. Blair.
Aye.
Passes.
All right. New business. And I think, you had the map up earlier.
I did.
We've got property to the west and north of the mall. There's a triangle part in the top, and we had a couple outfits look at it. It's pretty rough. It's undeveloped. So we're talking about selling that piece off.
Yes, so to pick up on what Andy's saying, we discussed this before everyone was here. This piece of property highlighted is been owned by the IDA for about 10 years now. This oddly shaped triangular portion is undevelopable. We've determined that through 3 different professional organizations. We found a buyer for the property, being the adjoining landowner, Mr. and Mrs. Wayne. We've worked with them over the last year in coming to terms on the sale of the property by the board's motion to approve moving forward with that. We engaged with MRB to conduct survey and subdivision approvals with the town of Aurelius, which have been completed and signed off on by their planning board and submitted to the county clerk. What's before you today is authorization of that sale of land and completing it.
My quick notation. Could you tell the board members, the total land there?
Mhm.
And which on the top triangle is
Yeah.
undevelopable, just so
Yeah.
they have an idea of
Yeah.
what we have.
Sure.
Thank you.
So in total, what we have here, including this little stretch that hits up to 5 and 20, it's about 60 acres. In this oddly formed triangular portion, that's about 20 acres that we're lopping off to sell over to the Waynes, the rest of which we will retain. We do have interest in it. For our new board members, we did work with MRB again on a market study and high-level site analysis of the property, and do see development potential there from a couple of different angles. So it actually made sense to get rid of this, because in almost no world could we in good conscience say we're gonna sell off this piece of land to somebody who's never gonna be able to use it because of terrain and its undevelopable nature. Happy to answer any other questions related to this stuff.
So we've got a motion in our packet here.
So for the resolution with going home.
The motion is to actually complete the sale, right?
Yes.
Do you have what the bottom dollar amount is that we're getting? We sold, I think it was 84,000.
Yeah, it's-
Something was the initial price, but we had to pay a considerable amount of the holding cost, right?
So what we have, and we do have the option and purchase agreement details in your packet here. The total purchase price will be $84,000. 2,000 non-refundable cash will be paid, along with 2,000 additional monies for our transaction costs associated with that. We do have just this week received invoice for services received from MRB for connection to this project, but on the whole, we're getting much more money than we deserve for the property. In the sense, that's not to say Mr. Wayne was taken advantage of. But when we bought the property, and this is where Tracy, I'm looking at you for this, because she worked on the acquisition, I think was 13,000. We bought all of it for back in 2016.
We paid his taxes.
Yeah.
Or we paid their taxes.
So it's
But they got a big
right off.
write off.
Yep.
So it was a win-win for everybody. And then I think this is also a nice friendly motion, for the twins.
I'm sorry, Michael, did you come up with the number of dollars we get to complete the sale? I didn't follow. After we take the closing cost out, how much money will?
I can't tell you right offhand because I don't have the MRB services in front of me. Tracy, you remember what that quoted amount was? I'm sorry to pick on you, but sorry. I can follow up with you on that, but it's still quite substantial.
It's done anyway, guys, like.
I strongly recommend you move forward with this.
Right.
I think the survey was 10, and then there was like another maybe 5 or 6 on top of that
Apps.
for the paperwork.
Yeah, I do recall we spoke with the board about it when we got MRB's proposal and we came to the consensus that it was still.
The buyer said a maximum amount that they would pay, if I remember correctly, was a deal.
Yes,
And then we would pay the balance of that, which, see, I wanna argue with you, Michael, that makes it a little unfair to us, but.
I want to get this deal done.
Okay, we're going to get it done, I'm not gonna
Okay.
stop it being done.
Okay.
All right, so we've got the authorization resolution.
Yep.
We need to read that out loud.
I do.
Do you?
Yeah, there's a roll call vote that goes with this as well.
All right, just make it so.
Okay. All right.
Well, we're at.
Resolution of the Cayuga County IDA, one, authorizing the sale of certain vacant lands to Deborah Wayne. 2, authorizing the execution and delivery of certain contract to purchase the land. 3, adopting findings with respect to State Environmental Quality Review Act. And 4, authorizing the execution of related documents with respect to the project. Okay, I'll move over to the roll call here. Mr. Blair.
I just had a quick question.
Yep.
MC Owasco. That's
Yeah.
just the holdings company for Mrs. Wayne.
Nope,
No,
it was a
that's right.
typo.
That's a different one.
Nope, I know where Tom is. That's just a
Okay.
typo. That's why I said Deborah when I was reading it.
Understanding that, I'll vote yes.
Mr. Marshall,
Yes.
Mr. Skank.
Yes.
Mr. Shea,
Yes.
Mr. Casper,
Yes.
Ms. Spino,
Yes.
Mr. Rindfleisch.
Yes.
To everyone, and looking forward to closing on that. Today.
Like another full circle moment.
Okay.
All right. Last one.
So this is the other one, and he's happy to move down the map here to describe this.
This is the burn area.
Yes. So. Zooming in here, take a look up on the screen. Where my cursor is right now is where Sunburn Sales has their existing facility. We completed with them a new pilot in connection to their expansion of that facility that includes warehousing and new bakery production space. They own this vacant lot here where part of that expansion has moved to. We own this portion here along with this here, of which they have proposed $90,000, which is the fair market value we had assessed by a professional firm at the beginning of 2024. For this portion of land is wetland, considered undevelopable. And we did at one point have a right of first refusal from the milk plant for this property, but they no longer have interest in it. And any other bits of interest we've had for it that I can share with the board, we're unwilling to pay fair market value for. And it makes most sense from a strategic standpoint if Burn Dairy is looking to continuing to expand them.
Do we have an actual statement from the milk plant that they've given up their right of refusal on their property?
Their right of refusal expired at the end of last year, and in coordination with their purchase of property there, I did have separate conversations with Ryan Linney about their interest in this particular parcel. And that was in connection with water treatment that they were looking to do on site. What he had shared with me at the time is they reformulated their existing property to put that on lands they already own instead of trying to pick up another parcel.
Okay. Another question, you mentioned the pilot, are they getting a?
Not with this purchase of property, it's just an outright sale of our property to them, and our understanding is they want to expand again in the next couple of years, but right now they're getting off the ground with their current expansion.
So we're not renewing their pilot
No.
in any way?
No.
That really is what my question is, right? I would move we complete the sale, but I would like to. I'm not gonna hold it up, but I would like to usually get some kind of a certificate from the milk plant that they, even though their term has run out.
Well, legally, that's a Rick question. Rick, what do we need?
Yeah, Rick, if I'm crazy, just tell me.
Well, if it expired.
Hold on. And I don't mean to put you on the spot.
That's all right.
We can't play favorites,
No, I'm not.
so.
That right of
we
first
have both-
refusal expired, just that right of first refusal with the milk plant expired. So it,
Okay, forget my question.
no, you're good, you're good.
No, we just want to make sure we're not.
Right.
jeopardy. So that's expired.
Yeah, that was, we went into
Well,
that with
they,
them.
that title wise, they want to close if the right of first refusal was still
Still
out there
there,
without a waiver or consent or expiration by a term, by a date.
Mhm. We did that with them the beginning of 2024.
So we have a motion on the table.
Question?
Is there a second? David? Any further discussion?
I have a question, if this vote is going to include the approval of the draft contract we have in our packets? If so, there's just one amendment I would suggest to that.
Speak to the guy on the screen.
We just need to change the closing date, that's all. So I would recommend we use April 30th, it gives them, what do you think, 60 days is fine, it's pretty simple parcel, right? But we just have an older date in here, we have January 31st, so if we change that to April 30th. It gives them 60 days, they're professionals, they should be able to pull that off, right?
Right.
That makes sense. That is an older date from a draft they sent us in December.
Right, right.
Good catch.
Thank you, Karen.
That's all I got.
Good to have another lawyer on the board. So thank you.
We'll see.
Yeah, other than-
Alright.
in town.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? You want to read it?
Yep.
Looks quickly.
Quick as I can. So resolution, the Cayuga County IDA 1, authorizing the sale of certain vacant lands to MC Owasco LLC. 2, authorizing the execution and delivery of a certain contract to purchase the land. 3, adopting findings with respect to excuse me, State Environmental Quality Review Act, and 4, authorizing the execution of related documents with respect to the project. I'll move to roll call. Mr. Blair.
Aye.
Mr. Marshall.
Yes.
Mr. Skank.
Yes.
Mr. Shea.
Yes.
Casper.
Yes.
Ms. Spino.
Yes.
Mr. Rhineflesh.
Yes.
I will keep the board updated on the progress of both these sales of property.
Okay. Line proposal.
Okay, so what you have in your packet, this is near the very end and just before the communications policy. So it's pretty much in the packet. Came up in our January meeting, we were discussing some properties, and one of which is pulling the map back up. It's a small corner lot on the corner of 5 and 20 and Eagle Drive. We've had it quite a bit. And while it's considered a pretty prime location, we really have not been able to move on it. Part of the reason is the bedrock over there. I had reached out to a couple of stations about putting in a potential gas store or a gas station or store, and bedrock keeps coming back as an issue there. So what Gina had recommended at the last meeting was, let's get a sign up there to help increase visibility and awareness from it. Wanted to look local, so reached out to Matt Ferguson over at A&M Graphics. The proposal you have in front of you for full sign installation and design work is a little over $1,600. I did go over this with Gina. This is actually quite a bit less than the original proposal he had sent over to us.
What size you talking, Mike?
4x8. Total.
Back page.
16. Usually once you pay that half, then they'll give you a roof to look at.
Mhm.
I think that's
At the
an
bottom.
awful lot.
Right back of that page. What did you say?
I think it's a lot.
So your own expensive packet.
Okay.
Yeah, fourth page from the back.
Yeah.
Is that two-sided, Michael?
Yeah,
Yeah, so you're gonna see it both directions.
it's not on this for some reason, but.
So that price is probably because it's two-sided.
So what's everybody think?
When Mike brought that up before, there was some concern that we make sure that the sign only indicates that small piece of property.
Yeah, we should say land for sale and not milk plant for sale.
Well,
Well.
not only that, but the property in back of it.
Well, we say like 2 acres or
Yeah.
0.5 acres or whatever.
As long as it's specific so that
Mhm.
anybody looking knows what they're.
Mhm.
Yeah, and as Rick just said, we would get proofs before anything goes up to delineate this is what's actually for sale here.
Is this a single sided?
No, it's two-sided. That's what I just said. That's why it's probably so much money to go for that.
It's on one side.
One sided.
That includes installation. They're gonna do the installation, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's that bad, actually. For sign that size with design services as well. I'll make a motion to approve the vote as submitted.
One second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
I'll reach out to Matt tomorrow and get him working.
All right, we tabled the communication already. Any need for an executive session?
Not that I'm aware of. I do need to catch our either chair, vice chair, secretary, gotta get some checks signed here before you leave.
All
I
right,
need a banking resolution authorized signing on there from people.
I'm not sure.
You
Huh?
like?
I'm gonna.
Not sure yet.
I guess tomorrow.
Yeah,
It's just a sheet I
oh,
need
that's
to-
ready to fill out. Okay. So I'll do that.
Okay.
We discussed at the last meeting and John Litton brought up a comment on it. I would like to have us invite John Montone from the coastal group to our meetings in the future. I think it's very, very important that we help support that electrical group. My February bill from last year to this year went up from $240 to $640.
Oh, wow.
What are you doing up there?
Yeah,
I'm not complaining about my.
he's
bill,
must
not
be
to you,
growing
but
something.
I think working with that, to acquire electricity, to distribute electricity. Is extremely important in the situation that we're currently in.
That's a nice one.
I would like to ask this group to extend an invitation to him to our meetings. He could be used for things that had nothing to do with electricity, but I think it would be good to have here.
Can we table that at all, Herb, so that the
Absolutely.
newer members can learn more about the group?
Yeah.
That's sort of.
Yeah.
No,
Also,
that's
if
good.
the meetings are open, so he can come to any meeting you want. Right?
I use that house as well.
Oh, I don't.
I'm not supposed to meetings that they're not.
Well, if he really wants to be there. You know, if he has an interest.
It's up there. I know anything.
Okay, so he's
I
one.
had to separate it out, Mike, make sure I didn't sign it.
Right. And I mean, he was great the last time he came in, he
Follow
was good.
Mr. Blair's suggestion and bring it up at our next meeting.
Yeah, I think though, we,
And their information's on the county website. I think I've seen it before. I just don't know a whole lot about it, but it's on the county website.
yeah,
Yeah. I don't
We'll
know.
find it. I'll find it.
I don't even know if they have their own
Actually-
website.
It's its own charter. I think I understand it.
Public utilities.
Yeah, then just need projects.
Follow up on that. I mean, we've always been a few steps, Cayuga County has, and that. Guess aspersions with this group, a little behind the curve with some of the, even as Oswego and everything as far as having shovel-ready developments, but if we could offer some cheaper electric to some of these firms that wanna, that'd be a huge leg up. And it's worth exploring.
Our meetings are on YouTube, video, so. And he gave a
Was it
presentation,
your
maybe
meetings about-
2 or 3 or
I
4
was thinking
meetings ago.
same thing.
Maybe at the
Was there-
December
yeah.
meeting, he gave a presentation. That might be the best, that may be better than maybe
Yeah.
whatever website they have.
He explained things.
The executive director did, or the chair.
Yeah.
Mr. Monto, yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, Tom.
but I think to David's point, it really would
So,
behooves
November,
us,
December.
if we want industrial development, you know, we've got to look at all the utilities, the electrics, very. And we're suffering now from a lot of spots like that, presentation at the county the other night. You know, Wasco's got spots where they can't develop because they don't have the power. And the cost of the power. I mean, my wife doesn't complain as much as her, but still. Anything else, gentlemen? Herb, anything else you want to,
I move with you.
second? All in favor, please rise.
Hey, Justin. Thanks,
Thanks,
everyone.
folks. Have a great night.
Elaine Daly, if you know.
You want my town one or my
Yeah,
private?
they would.
Congratulations.